Hey Dragons, this is a quick review of the Unit 4 review paper. A review of a review. Yeah, I guess I said that. Alright, here we go. Keywords in here, varies directly. So you have a direct variation, you can set up a proportion. I read the second sentence, it says 46 pound weight stretches the spring 4.6 inches. How much weight, how many pounds, would it take to stretch the spring 10 inches? All right, so now we have it set up properly. Remember, pounds over inches on one side, pounds over inches on the other side. This is what we don't know yet. So we'll put our variable, I don't know, P for pounds, and let's cross multiply. We'll multiply 46 times 10, multiplying this way, and that will be equal to 4.6 times my unknown P. So I come over here, I multiply, that's 460 is equal to 4.6 P. Divide by the coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of the variable, 4.6. All right. Any number divided by itself is 1. Take your calculator if you need to. 460 divided by 4.6 is 100. The answer is 100 pounds. All right, problem number 2. The graph shows the amount of water remaining in a tank after a leak occurs. The water is leaking out of a 10-gallon tank at a constant rate and is emptied in 30 hours. That makes sense. There's my 0 at 30 hours. What is the slope? All right, so I need a rise over run. So if I start from this point right here, go up to my other point that I'm going to have, and make a slope triangle there. So I rise how much? And again, look over here, and that'll tell you how much you rise. Looks like I rose 10. We're going up, so that's a positive 10. And now we're going to run from 30, we go 30 down to 0. So we ran 30, but we ran 30 to the left. So that's going to be a negative 30 for my run. Remember, it's rise over run. Do not worry about big numbers, small numbers. It really, that should never come into your mind. Always think rise over run. So rise is a positive 10. Run is a negative 30. We can divide each by 10. And we have a positive 1 over a negative 3. So that is a negative 1/3. All right, number 3. There are a variety of ways you can do this. Definition of slope. All right, we have 2 ordered pairs. We can subtract the y values. Always put your variable first. W minus a negative 6. Notice that I'm subtracting the y values and putting them on top. Remember, anytime you subtract a negative, that is adding a positive, so I get W plus 6, minus becomes plus, take the opposite of negative, it becomes positive. Same thing over here, minus becomes plus, the opposite of negative 12 is positive, so I'm really just adding 3 and 12, and I get 15. So now I have 2 ratios that are talking about the same slope. So this is a slope using only numbers, this is a slope using an algebraic expression. Okay, so these guys over here have to be equal. So I'm going to take these 2 ratios, the W plus 6 over 15 and the 1/3, and I'm going to cross multiply them. Okay, I'm going to put, this is in a grouping symbol, fraction bar is a grouping symbol. I'm going to distribute a 3 to this right here. So 3 times the group W plus 6 is going to be equal to that cross product, 15 times 1. Distribute 3 times W is 3W, 3 times 6 is 18, 15 times 1 is 15. Subtract 18 from both sides because I want to get the W by itself. 3W is equal to negative 3. Divide by the coefficient of 3. So what's a negative 3 divided by a positive 3? That's right, it's a negative 1. All right, what's the rate of change? That's the slope. Let's do a rise over run just like the other problem. Goes through the origin. It's a direct variation. So I will rise a positive 320 from 0 up to 320. And then I will run from 0 all the way to 32. Going to the right, that's positive. Okay, so you're going to make the ratio the correct way. Are you going to put 32 over 320 or vice versa? It's rise over run. So the rise number on top, run number right here, divide that out. Rate of change is 10. It'd be really nice if you put the labels. That's $10 per hour. Rate of change. Number 10, what's the rate of change? Let's find the slope. What's my delta x? Looks like I'm going up by 0.5. What's my change right here? Looks like I'm going down by 500. Now, because they say it's constant, every one of these over here in this column is going to be a plus 0.5, and every one of these over here is going to be minus 500. So we just need one of them. So remember, this is my x, this is my y, so this is my delta x, and this is my delta y. Remember, delta means change, and slope is delta y over delta x. So negative 500, because that's my delta y, that's how my y's are changing, over my delta x, which is 0.5. Okay, grab a calculator, and you'll see that you get negative 1,000, and that would be feet per hour. And that's your rate of change. Same thing over here. Different graph, blah, blah, blah. They want the rate of change. So here we go. Between any 2 points really doesn't matter. So just to change things around, I'm going to do that one right there. So again, my rise goes from 300 to 450. 300 to 450, and that's a rise of 150. And then over here, I'm going from 30 to 45. That's a run of 15. Okay, rise 150 over run 15. Divide that out, and we get 10. $10 per student. All right, boy, they sure love this rate of change, don't they? Here we go. We got x, got y. We need our delta y. We need our delta x. It's changing by 20 here, and it looks like it's going down, negative, down by 125. If you don't know that, put in your calculator, 750 minus 625, and that'll give you that right there. All right? So, as we take a look at this, the next one is also a negative 125 from 625 to 500. All right, so it's going to be the same all the way down once the parachute opens. So delta y is negative 125, and my delta x is going to be 20. So negative 125 divided by 20 is going to be a negative 6.25 meters per second. Again, meters per second. Number 8, it's like the worksheet we did last time. You've got your stages already set up here. So first stage. So again, I'm going to cover that up because don't need the dots yet. That's not for this problem. All right, so what do you get out of this first equation right here? Do you know your first stage? Yeah, your first stage is going to start at -1. Okay? Now, what do we gather from this second equation? We only need the very end, the caboose. We only need that right here. So, again, this guy right here tells me where to start, and this guy right here is my common difference. So, come over here, take a calculator if you need to, punch in a -1, now subtract 4. That should give you a -5. And just keep subtracting 4 each time. -9, subtract 4, -13, subtract 4, -17, subtract 4, -21, subtract 4 is a -25. What is the value of the 7th term? The value of the 7th term, even though there's not an answer blank there, would be -25. All right. So, again, the pattern number, start with 1 and just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And count the dots. Remember, you're not worried about how they're laid out, or you're not trying to find some kind of symmetry or some kind of design. All you're doing is counting dots. There are 5 here, 8 here, 11 here, 14 here. Don't believe me? Check it out yourself. So it says to write an equation. Remember, I told you had to have this memorized because that's what starts an equation for an arithmetic sequence. So what's my starting number of dots in pattern 1? We're going to start with 5. We're going to keep the n minus 1 because we want the equation. And what's the common difference? It looks like we're adding 3. All right. So we'll distribute right here and get 3n minus 3. We have the 5 right there. We can combine these two guys right here. 5 minus 3 is 2, and keep the 3n out front. And there's our equation right there. Remember how you can check? Go to your y equal button and type in 3x plus 2. Go to your table and see if this table was created on your calculator. If it is, then this is correct. Last one. All right, so here's slot 1, here's slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5. Okay. So we could actually fill in the table if you wanted to. Let's go ahead and do that. We got 2, 13, 24, 35, 46, and how are we changing? Looks like we're changing by 11 each time. Do we need to know that? Of course we do. We've got to know the common difference. That's going to be my guy right there. And what goes right there? What do I start with? Do I start with a 1? No. What's in the first slot? What's in the first position? The number 2. And distribute 11, and we get 11n minus 11. And combine 2 minus 11 is -9. And so my equation is going to be that right there. There's your test.